Hi, good morning. So I would like to talk about what we call the elephant in the room, which in my perspective, the elephant in the room is actually AI is not good enough. You know, the marathon that we talk about, there are a few years that AI will be really good and will help us to drive a change and drive value. But what I'm planning to talk about today is actually how bots and AI can make a big difference in the contact center space, and specifically how we can address the AI and leverage that. So there's no need to convince you about the trend behind me. We are messaging, and there is a big shift from voice to messaging. And in fact, all of us are actually taking an active part of this shift. To be more specific, I call it the digital tsunami. And why tsunami? There are 300 billion interactions between us, the consumer, to the brand. Believe it or not, 90% of that, 270 billion interaction on a yearly basis, still done on 1-800 over the phone. And the key players, such as Google and Facebook and Apple, actually created frameworks that we already taking advantage of to actually follow this tsunami to the consumer to brand business conversation. This obviously comes with additional benefits. The number one benefit is the benefit to us as consumers, a great consumer experience. The benefit to the brands, to the business, meaningful reduction in cost. But last but not least, that serves as a springboard to bots and AI to come into the game, to play, and to benefit from that. If we look about apps that serve the next generation for websites, what we see today is a conversational business that enables us to consume content and consume or drive interactions and transactions in front of the business. More than that, the beauty of it is that conversational business leverage the existing digital assets from websites, from apps, from CRM, from knowledge base, and bring it all into a conversation. Just make this data, this digital data, accessible via conversation. So if bots and AI will be successful, that means that it's changed the way we are driving business between us, the consumer, to the brand. What does it mean to be successful? In order to be successful, there are two things that actually need to happen perfectly. The first one, and that's the elephant in the room, we need to understand accurately and exactly the intent or the consumer intent. The second thing, while understanding the intent, we need to drive or to pair the specific consumer to the right bot or human. And during the upcoming few minutes, I would like to focus on those two specific aspects. So understanding the intent is really hard. In English, there are close to 200,000 words. If you think about the number of combination of words that I can express myself, it's overwhelming. And by the way, not including slang, emojis, and grammar mistakes. We have people here from Korea. I think the number of words are actually double in Chinese, Japanese. It's overwhelming. But after so many years of experience of working with big brands and going through the transcripts, practically there are only 5% of these words that are being used when we interact with the big brands. 10,000 words. That's what we are using. It's 5%. Those 10,000 words map into something like 600 to 1,600 different intents. Let's say 1,000 intents. Those intents mapped into business processes. Could be 60, 80, 100 different business processes, depend on the business size. So if I'm trying to reach out to the brand and I would like to pay my bill, there are so many ways that I can express myself that I would like to pay my bill, or maybe I would like to notify my bank that I lost my credit card, or I have a login problems and I need some help. So the task in hand is practically to take those different phrases and map them into what I call the contact center language. So there are many ways to express myself, but it's mapped into specific intents, skills, that's, by the end of the day, the contact center language. So let's see what does it mean. Let's see that in action. We created a tool, what we called Intent Analyzer tool, and that's actually to resolve what I call the elephant in the room. This tool, in this specific example, took millions of conversations of a specific big telco provider in Europe, map them into the specific cluster the intents, find out that there are 650 or so different intent, each intent related to the specific actions, and each intent also map into the specific conversation that an analyst can take a look and understand where it came from. Like any other great tool, we have dashboards and KPIs and graphs, etc. However, as much as I like technology, definitely our technology, it's not good enough. The results are good, but are not perfect. So in order to shape that, we added the human, in this case, the analyst, to the loop, and help the machine learning, and it's helping each other. Let's take a look. What does it mean? The analyst is actually the analyst getting into the tool. Most of the work done by the machine. Now we see different intents, topics related to this intent, and the analyst can merge between intents that, A and B that actually are meaning the same, teach the machine that from now on, that's the same intent. We can add additional intent toward a new product or a new service that we are launching tomorrow. And the most commonly used intents are actually also presented to the analyst. That's practically will find its way to the user interface and routing. Because by the end of the day, what the analysts do, actually take all those intent and tie it to the specific treatment. If intent X require an attention of bot that doing X, Y, or Z, and then escalate it to agent, or intent Y will go via human and then any other specific treatment. So the analyst can tie the treatment based on the intent. And there are actually two things that we can derive from this intent analyzer. The first one is actually drive consumer experience based on those intents. What we can see here, starting from sharing with the consumer the word cloud, the most common intents, helping the consumer to find the right journey and start based on the journeys and the business processes that the contact center defined. Another option would be like a small NLP engine that while I'm typing, exactly like we have in SMS, complete in real time the specific intents or actions that I would like to provide. While on the right side, you can see cases that the intent is not clear and there is a need to fine-tune. Therefore, I'm subsetting the number of intent in order to share with the consumer to choose the right one. I will give an example in a minute. The second thing, as a derivative from the intent analyzer, is routing. Or pair the consumer, the right consumer, to the right human or bot in the right time. So we see here several examples. The left one, let's assume that I would like to pay my bill. In this case, I'm attaching a deep link to the application, to the website via web from or iframe or a specific area that already exists in order to self-serve and pay my bill. If it's like classic self-service, like I would like to change my address or get my balance. Those are classic bots that actually retrieve the data, and it will be mapped into the proprietary bot that specializes in this area. If I would like to cancel my account, whether I mention that specifically or via the intent analyzer, it's clear that I mean or I'm at a risk to cancel my account, or I would like to upgrade something, that will go to human because that's what the business decide. If we're talking about someone that would like to upgrade, and it's not clear, upgrade can refer to, I would like to upgrade my program, I would like to upgrade my mobile phone, or maybe I mean I would like to buy a new phone. That means that I'm subsetting the number of intents that related to upgrade, and then enabling the consumer to choose the right selection and route to the right person or bot. During the last few months, we had the opportunity to work with Get. I'm really excited about this partnership, not like many other companies that are going through what I called a digital transformation. Get, born in digital, serving the digital consumer, and they really get it. So it's they just changed the way they're interacting with consumers. Instead of sending a mail or pick up the phone, it's an in-app messaging inside the app. And as we speak, we are working with Get on the same process that I've just shown, and we're going through the entire transcripts, understand the machine, provide the right intents that are popular, we optimize that, and then driving the right consumer experience and routing. So in the left side, you can see the most commonly used that will be mapped to the application. Subsetting intents whenever is needed. And for example, when I forgot something on, in the taxi, I can reach out to human and then a different bot whispering the agent the mobile number of the taxi driver that get back to the consumer. So that's an interesting use case in action, taking the intent analyzer and serving both the consumer and the business. This audience, by the end of the day, divided between bots makers and innovators and obviously business people that you guys are on your journey as part of the digital transformation. So for the bots makers and the innovator, I would like to invite you all to take advantage of the APIs and the tools and make a big difference to the enterprise. For the business people here, please do embrace those people. Let them serve your customers alongside with the human and drive what we called the tango. Thank you very much.